Oh, what's going on YouTube? It's Final K, and today I'm bringing you guys a video on how to start solo laners now in the new patch after Warrior's Blessing has been nerfed. There's a lot of options now, so I figured I'd make a video on it because people are starting this and asking a lot of questions about what they should be starting, whether it's like boots 2 or a certain starter item or, you know, whatever. I mean, it's going to be different based on the god you're playing, so yeah, well, let's just get right into it. I'm going to go over every start that you could do in solo right now, or at least every viable option, and we'll talk about why you do it and the benefits and some of the downfalls of each. So I'm just going to be on Achilles the entire time. So this is for Guardians, some mages, warriors, of course, and even some assassins, just basically anything that's viable in solo right now. So the first start I'm going to go over real quick is obviously just Warrior's Blessing, since this is still a viable start for sure. Oh shoot, it always does this. Like I said, it's still a viable start even after the nerf. However, it's not mandatory anymore, and that's what I tell everybody that asks me in my chat and everything like that. Basically, they nerfed it, so now it's only 75 health on the Warrior's Blessing, plus you only get the 30 health and 30 mana return on every stack of it when you hit the enemy. So still a decent item. The big part of this and the big reason you would still go this is that you don't take nearly as much damage from minions because of the 3% reduction. So every archer hit, every melee hit you take from a minion is going to be reduced. So if you're playing a god that's going to be tanking a lot of the minion waves because they're hitting the enemy god, so basically if you're just in a poke war in the wave with the enemy solo laner, then Warrior's Blessing is still a viable option. So when you're thinking about what starter item you should go, if you're playing a god that's going to be hitting them pretty consistently and tanking the wave, probably hitting the enemy solo plus hitting the wave, such as like a god like Achilles, who also full clears the wave pretty easily, then Warrior's Blessing will be a go-to for sure. And not only that, but if you feel like they have a lot of dots, or they're going to camp you, maybe their jungler is going to be optionally ganking your lane, such as like an Ao Kuang or something like that, something that usually wants to camp solo, then Warrior's Blessing is still good because once you get that fully stacked, you get the extra protections, and of course the health and the reduction on this is still going to be helpful to keep you alive. So that's the thought process that goes into building Warrior's Blessing. And of course the start would just be, it's going to be very similar on every god, it's just a little different first item, but the relic is going to be teleport pretty much every time, plus a chalice. You want to have chalice and teleport on pretty much every start that you go in solo. So that's the thought process that goes into Warrior's Blessing. Next up is going to be, we're going to talk about Guardian's Blessing. So I made a video on this a while back, and this was when Warrior's Blessing was really good and basically mandatory, so it didn't catch on as much, but now people are starting to go Guardian's Blessing in solo, and there's a few reasons for that. Though the main reason, the main reason for going Guardian's Blessing in solo is that you don't lose a lot of gold to tower, and you actually ramp up your gold pretty quick, because once you get this fully stacked, you're going to be gaining a little extra gold every 5 seconds. It's an extra 4 per 5 seconds, and it actually adds up pretty quick. Plus the gold that you're getting for assists on minions. So if you're not last hitting the minions, you're getting that gold, plus the gold once you have it fully evolved. So it's actually going to stack up pretty quick. And if you have Guardian's Blessing and the enemy solo doesn't have Guardian's Blessing, by about 10 minutes after that you have it fully evolved, I mean, you should have it fully evolved pretty quickly if you're buying it on the right gods. You're going to be at about like 1k up just naturally. So especially if you're buying like cost-effective items and stuff like that, so that's what it's really good for. And basically the reason you start this is because it also makes you pretty tanky, because you get 5 protections each, 100 health, you get the regen from the assist on minions, so that's really helpful. And you also want to be buying it on gods that aren't going to be full clearing the wave very quickly. So I wouldn't buy this god on, or this item on like Wukong, for example, because you're going to be one-shotting the wave when it gets to a certain point, so you're not going to be stacking it up as efficiently as you should. However, it doesn't mean you can't buy Guardian's Blessing on a lot of these characters, because what you can do is you can buy Guardian's Blessing and just not clear the wave and hit the enemy solo and focus on poke and focus on getting the minions low but never last hitting them. So you can do it. It's just a different play style, but I do recommend going this starter item or blessing or whatever on certain gods like Sobek, Kuzenbo, Guardians, low pressure warriors like even Amaterasu, maybe Guan Yu, and just focus on not exactly last hitting the wave so that you can stack up the blessing as fast as possible. But once you get it fully stacked, of course, you can last it, because you just want to have the evolved gold per 5. So with all these different starts, there's no real true correct way to start each god, in my opinion, right now. It's really just a playstyle thing and what you like and what you're comfortable with. So for example, you could go Guardian's Blessing on Achilles, but even though I said that you probably should go Warrior's Blessing, because if you just focus on poking and stuff, you can still stack it up. You're just going to play it a little bit differently in lane. You're not going to be full clearing the wave like you're supposed to. But you could also start boots too, which is the next start I'm going to talk about, because you have a lot of pressure as Achilles, so rushing boots and teleporting back in with the full boots power spike is really good as well. So let's go ahead and talk about that. This is the boots 2 start. So basically all you do here is you buy boots 2 chalice. If you feel like somehow with only having boots 2, you're going to get poked super hard in lane before you teleport back in, or maybe even be able to die, or maybe not able to get your teleport off for whatever reason or something like that, you can go an extra health pot, but usually you'll be good just going boots, chalice, and teleport. The strength of this start is that it allows you to TP back in with 40 physical power and your full movement speed that you're going to have for basically the rest of the game, unless you go another move speed item. So that means you're going to have a huge power spike. You're going to be able to outtrade super hard, and the most important thing is it's going to allow you to have that huge power spike on the first respawn of blue buff. A lot of times what happens is you won't have enough gold if you go a starter item plus boots 1 and to teleport back in before the first respawn of blue. So if you do this start and you rush boots, you're going to have your full boots power spike and you may be even able to invade the enemy blue buff, especially with the amount of power you have and if your jungler is ready for it. So that's kind of the strength of this. One of the downfalls of this start is that, first of all, you don't have a starter item, so you don't get the innate tankiness early on. You're not going to be very tanky, but you do have the movement speed as a form of safety. And another thing is there's no mana regen on boots, so if you just rush boots as soon as possible, you're going to have no mana regen. You're not getting MP5 from your starter item. You're not getting the mana you get from Warrior's Blessing or anything like that, MP5 from Hunter's Blessing or anything like that. So that's one of the downfalls of this item. So you do have to be pretty cognizant of how much mana you're using, so just keep that in mind if you're going this start. And like I said, every start just basically has a different playstyle and nothing is correct. So with this playstyle, you're just going to want to play super aggressive when you teleport back in. And another thing with this start, another strength of this start, is that you're using your TP pretty early, and it's also kind of a weakness. But because you're using your TP so early, what you should do is make use of this chalice, poke them really often on the first 2 waves, because you're going to teleport back in immediately to buy boots to teleport back to lane. So poke them really consistently, make use of your chalice, because it's going to refill once you back and TP back in. So just use that. But also you're going to have your teleport down for a while if you use it early on. So if you get ganked and get punished, since you're not going to be tanky and you die, it's going to be an awkward situation where you won't have your teleport and it can put you behind. So that is one weakness to the start. So that's the boots 2 boots rush start. Next up is Hunter's Blessing. So for the Hunter's Blessing start, this is basically going to be only on the gods that either are very mana dependent and it'll make use of the mana, or gods that are auto attack dependent. So for example, any of the auto attack warriors like Bellona, Osiris, Erlang, they make really good use of this. Not only because they get the extra damage for their cleave autos on the wave, but also the MP5. They're never going to run out of mana with this, which is really nice. And which is also why I like it on somebody like Amaterasu. One of the downfalls and weaknesses of this start and the Mage's Blessing start is that you're not tanky at all early on. So if you ever tank the minions, they're actually going to do a lot of damage to you. So you have to play around that. Try not to be tanking the minions too much. And when you do poke the enemy, make sure that there's not a lot of minions left in the wave, because they will hit you pretty hard and you will get out traded if they have a tank item like Warrior's Blessing or Guardian's Blessing for sure. So like I said, 10 MP5 is really nice. So it's going to be helping you with the mana dependent gods. And like I said, you're basically only building this on the auto attack warriors. However, a better start for the auto attack warriors right now, in my opinion, with the introduction of this item, Zerker Shield, is going round shield, chalice of healing, of course, and teleport. And what you're doing with this is basically like the boots rush. You're only buying the this and no starter item, and you're going to rush it as soon as possible. So all you need is 500 gold to finish this off. You're buying the chalice as well. You start it with 1500, so you're going to need basically 500 gold, which you should get after 2 waves. So you're just going to TP back in with the full Zerker Shield. Only issue with this is you're going to have no movement speed, so you're going to be a little bit slower. However, the sustain you get from it and the stats you get on it that early in the game, 25 power, 15 physical protection, and 15% attack speed, it's going to be very hard for you to ever get ganked and die, because you're going to be healing so much early on in the game. And it's going to make your laning phase really hard to deal with for the enemy solo, because they're never going to be able to outtrade you because of the passive on Berserker Shield. So if they don't do this rush, then you're going to be in a really good spot in lane. However, like I said, you're not going to have the movement speed. You're putting your boots a little bit behind, and you won't have the starter item, but you do not have the downfall of the boots rush start in that you aren't tanky at all, because you definitely get pretty tanky, at least in the fact that you have so much regen with this start. And you're doing this start on the auto attack warriors, mainly the cleave warriors, so Bellona, Osiris Erlang, especially Erlang because it procs twice on his passive, so it's really good for him for sure. And then you would just go boots here, and then, you know, yada yada yada. But another weakness, of course, is that you're wasting your teleport early, just like the boot start. So if you ever get ganked and die, you're going to be in a little bit of a rough spot because you just used your teleport, and the enemy still has his teleport up, so he can play off that power spike. And another start, last but not least, is the Mage's Blessing start. This is going to be the last start that you could go. This is for characters that, one, are also mana dependent, but two, they make really good use of the passive on Mage's Blessing, the fact that it procs on abilities. So characters like that are ability-based warriors like Kukulin, Wukong, maybe even Achilles. Procs on him pretty consistently. It procs on his 3 twice. So Mage's Blessing is really good for your clear. So a lot of times when you go Mage's Blessing, you just want to be focusing on clearing the wave because you should outclear the enemy solo if you have multiple abilities that proc with it. So like Wukong at level 3 is going to be clearing the wave super efficiently because he's going to proc it 3 times. Proc the Mage's Blessing 3 times. Same for like Achilles or even Kukulin. And the thing about Kukulin with Mage's Blessing is that every single one of his abilities procs it. Even his 2, it procs it once on the first tick. But when he transforms, every single one of those abilities procs it as well, including the 2. So it procs 8 times on Kukulin. That's why it's a pretty good start on him. The only thing is you don't really need the mana regen part of it. It's not going to be helping you too much on Kukulin since, you know, his passive and everything. But the same thing with Hunter's Blessing and the fact that you take a lot of minion damage goes for Mage's Blessing. You want to make sure that you're not poking too much when the minion wave is there because you're going to be taking a lot of minion damage without the reduction from Warrior's Blessing or any regen like that. Also with this is you're going to be pretty squishy early on since you don't have the protections or health that you're getting from like a Warrior's Blessing or Guardian's Blessing. You also aren't going to have the movement speed that you get from rushing boots, so that safety is gone. So you just have to be a little bit careful early on, but come mid-game with this Mage's Blessing, you're going to be hitting pretty hard, especially if you have multiple abilities that proc the passive. It's similar to Bluestone, old Bluestone, 25 plus ability damage on a carry when you're playing like a warrior that's going to proc it maybe 3 or 4 times in a fight. That's an extra 100 damage, which is really nice, plus the CDR that you're going to get from it. So that's also why it's good on ability-based warriors for sure. So overall, it's going to increase your DPS by quite a bit, including that 10% CDR. So yeah, just focus on clearing the wave. Like I said, pretty much every start just requires a different play style and kind of a preference for whoever's building the god. It also depends on the god you're playing. Like I said, I mean, ability-based warriors for Mage's Blessing, auto attack warriors for Hunter's Blessing plus Berserker Shield, Guardian's Blessing for low pressure gods that aren't going to be one-shotting the wave, and Warrior's Blessing for characters that are going to be poking in the wave and fighting very often and maybe even getting ganked pretty often and against like dot damage gods. So yeah, that's pretty much the only starts. Shifter's Shield start is kind of falling out of the meta just because it pushes your boots too far behind. Shifters is really expensive, and there's just better starts for sure and more efficient starts. So that's pretty much it. Those are all the starts that you should be going in solo right now. Try them all out. Like I said, it's mainly preference and play style, so it kind of depends on what you like to do and what you're going for, and definitely on the god you're playing. So give them a go. Take these things that I talked about into consideration when you do it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for watching.